Hi, I'm Avi Weeder.
And I'm Amy Hobby. Welcome to Films Not Made. Today, we have Filmwax meets Films Not Made. We have a special guest who we've known for a long time.
I've known Adam for, decades at this point. He has a podcast called Filmwax Radio. I was actually an early guest on it back in the day. And on his show, he interviews filmmakers and directors. And the range of guests he gets is just quite astounding. Everyone from independent filmmakers making small documentaries up to Werner Herzog.
Pretty exciting to have Adam Schartoff on the show today. Welcome to Films Not Made.
Welcome, Adam. It's great to talk to you, to see you. It's been a while. We certainly go back quite a while. I think I was on your show. How long have you been doing Filmwax?
Well, the whole idea behind it was, when I really started it, before it was even a podcast, it was an internet radio show for about, I don't know how many months, and with this Brooklyn-based platform called B-Box Radio, an internet radio station. Mm-hmm. And then because it was just talk content, I was interviewing filmmakers and folks from the industry from the beginning, specifically independent art house, that we could podcast this because podcasting was beginning to become a thing. So, and then after I started doing that, I was like, well, why am I doing internet radio? Just doesn't, I don't know if anybody's scheduling their time around my show at some, whatever weekday in the afternoon they had me on. So I just sort of forgot about that and just started doing podcasting only. And all that happened in the early teens, I guess. Like I was podcasting, I think by 2012 or 13. But the show started in 2011, the fall of 2011.
Who have you had on?
Oh my God. Well, I only focus on who I haven't had on, but I've had on you, and I've had on a number of your guests, I guess, but on your fabulous podcast. But I the highlights. Well, let me put it this way: there really are. I'll just mention a few. I like to say that I don't really draw a distinction between first-time filmmakers and veteran filmmakers or actors, or I just, if
that's
they're
nice.
Doing something that's from their passion and their heart, that and they can talk about it with that kind of enthusiasm, then that's a great episode. And that is actually true. It's not just a platitude to say that. But having said that, Werner Herzog's been on the show. And
yeah, that was incredible.
We also, Adam, have people come on who have passion and put a lot of heart into everything, except in our case, the film doesn't end up getting made.
The goal was kind of similar, but you're doing it with the absence of a film, which is very unique, I think, really unique. And takes a lot more work, and I think in some ways to kind of make all that happen. And we can get into all that for sure. I'll wrap up by saying that I'm approaching 900 episodes, and but I'm certain I will not get to 1,000 episods.
Oh,
why? Why do you think you won't get to 1,000?
Are you retiring?
You're so close.
Yeah. Well, I'm not there quite yet, and but because I work at a radio station, and we're doing a lot of the stuff I've always been trying to do with the podcast, but my audience has necessarily shrunk over the years because of what we're talking about, because of the sheer number or amount of content out there. Audio content has exploded, as you said, Amy, and it's a joy, but it's a lot of work. So I can focus all that the energy and everything else into the radio station where I work at, because I'm part of this core team, and we're trying to really build something. And I think it serves. By serving that with more of my attention, I'm doing more good.
What was the spark at the beginning, Adam? What was your, passion? What was the spark for the idea to have a show?
I don't know if you remember, Amy, but back in Park Slope, in a good 6 months before I started the the show, I had a little film series. It was in the back of a bar.
Which where was it? Was it at?
It was on Fifth Avenue and 13th, like 13th Street, between 12th and 13th. There was a bar called, well, at the time it was called the Fifth Estate. Not a great name for a place, but
oh yes,
it's now called Young Ethel's. It's now called Young Ethel's. It was once. It's had, of course, many lives, but it's been Young Ethel's for quite a while. And it's they have the back room, and it's it's smallish, but they have they have music, live music back there. But then the owner at the time, this young guy, he bought a projector. And he was like, "Hey, Adam, I have this projector now." And I said, "Well, what about a film series? Like, we can bring." I know I'm starting to really create a lot of relationships with local filmmakers and friends. It was so easy living in Brooklyn, and so that's how it started. And it started actually with that film series, which was called the Filmwax Film Series. Before I had a podcast called Filmwax.
Oh.
So it started with a film series. So my first guest was Zachary Levy, who had a film called Strongman. And then I had on Michael Galinsky with Battle for Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just,
I know Michael.
Yeah. But very fast I realized, well, wait a minute, why limit myself? Why just limit myself to my film series? I could have on all sorts of folks from the Brooklyn film scene. And then after a few months, I was like, why just Brooklyn? Make it New York City,
And then the world.
And then the world.
Since you've done 900 episodes, and you've seen things progress longitudinally. I mean, we've all been living in the business, within the industry. But what would you say is kind of an observation in terms of like where we've been heading and where we are now? Because so much of what we're doing with Films Not Made is about stuff that didn't get made, and then let's take another look at it now using AI tools, and could it be made now? How do you feel about it? Are you putting it to bed, or are you sort of reinvigorated? So give us a sense of your take on kind of where we are now for people trying to make films.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting period because of AI, and I really respect the way you guys are deploying it. It's very, very, very intentional and very specific, and it just kind of really ends up working really well with Films Not Made. And I think if that were true across the board, if there was some oversight to AI, I'd feel a lot more comfortable with it. We live in such a capitalist country run amok, that I have no faith that AI will, be just a tool, but will just do what it's threatening to do, which is to replace human beings and jobs. And so and I think a lot of people have that anxiety for a very good reason, in this country. Whereas in Europe and Asia, there's oversight and there's, controls being put into place. So,
yeah, I think it feels scary for a lot of filmmakers, right? Like you're not going to have agency, jobs are going to be lost. The IP you work so hard on for years is going to be stolen in 1 millisecond. But I think it's not AI generally, it's just the lack of our control over it, right? The lack of legal oversight, the lack of our abilities to use it as a tool and use it to our benefit. And I think part of what we're doing on the show is trying to show and demonstrate that, right? How can it be a way to help you? How can you have some agency over it? How can you use it to demonstrate something that's in your imagination, right? Because we always made pitch decks, right? Like I've been making films for a really long time, and we always made. You saw Poodle Power episode 2. You saw my very first pitch deck that I made, and it.
Amazing.
Boy,
for those on my show who don't know, I just want to mention for those that is the Iditarod. There was a true story, right, about these I guess standard poodles who actually. right, who ran the
Iditarod. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it was my film with Ann Hubble, my producing partner at the time, and
it was going to be animated.
Well, because we didn't want to go to Alaska.
Right.
Make a film is too cold.
And
so
you knew nothing about animation.
We made decisions for, I don't know, weird reasons back then. We're like, we're not going to go do that. We'll just be animated. And plus, Poodle's running the Iditarod in animations. It's pretty funny. My first pitch deck was really just like clip art. And, had I been able to have a tool that could help me, have what's all the stuff that was in my head on the page and help me convey that to funders, things might have gone a little differently back in the day, right? And I think we just have to, keep talking about it and figuring out how artists can have agency.
Do you think that it's increasingly more difficult for people to get films made? I mean, I'm really curious about sort of general sentiment, I suppose.
It's always been a conversation. It's always been part of the conversation, how challenging, how difficult, how nearly impossible it is to not so much make a film, but get it seen.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's definitely a deflation of film festivals. I mean, there have been an overabundance. I don't know. For as far as I can tell, the film festival culture, has been a distribution for a lot of films to be seen at all by human beings in the same room with the filmmakers.
Yeah.
And, when I talk to filmmakers, they're seem to be feeling like more challenged than ever to get their film out into the world is the biggest issue, and not so much making the film.
2019, 2020, I started a collective called Distribution Advocates. We also have Substack. We were early Substack adopters. And, we started because we saw filmmakers not focusing on audience because it's so hard to get a film made, right? And I think, and when we started talking about distribution, nobody wanted to hear about it, right? They're like, I'm making my film. I'm going to go to Sundance. I'm going to sell the film. That's someone else's problem, right? But very quickly, in 5 years, conversations, think pieces, labs, all of that has popped up around distribution. And so I feel what you're saying in that it's the big issue of our industry right now.
In terms of like the tone, the tenor of people that come on the show, I mean, still in all, these are people that have made a film. They figured out some way of getting their film out, but the expectations have really kind of been lowered, like let's say the current episode, which is a French-American documentary filmmaker named Anne Agion. Do you know this woman?
Yeah. Sure.
So she made a very personal, documentary called Turbulence, and then she also is known for making these films in Africa and in Antarctica, and she's put them on this platform, or a couple of them anyway, on a particular platform. And that's kind of, for her, that's sufficing because she didn't get into that many festivals and it's not getting into theaters. So she's just lowered her expectations.
It depends on your goals. It depends on your goals, right?
Right.
How big an audience you can garner, right? If you spend $50 to make your film, then you can distribute it however you want. You can put it on YouTube, right? YouTube has the biggest audience in the world. So it's not that the audiences aren't there, and it's not that the good films aren't there. It's the stuff in between, right? This is just hypothetical. I wonder if the drawers and cabinets of unmade films are getting bigger and bigger with people. Like the more, or it's just my focus on it, right? Because I was on a call with Carl and Tia, who just did the Amy Goodman documentary, Steal This Story.
Steal This Story.
Yeah, and I mentioned my podcast. And like, oh, we're gonna be guests. Like everyone I talk to wants to be a guest. So from doc filmmakers, scripted, just writers, directors, producers, there are stories. And yeah, is there any sense for you like that it's people are struggling a little more with getting those great films made?
I mean, there are a lot of studio films have been, made and never out there, right? Isn't Catwoman is one of the more recent examples?
Oh yeah, Catwoman for sure. Do you know the producer Blair Briard? She came on our show. She shot a whole series.
A whole series.
10 episodes. They filmed it. They were halfway through editing. The writer's strike happened, so they paused because she was still writing in the editorial process, essentially. So she made the, brave decision to make a statement and say that she was doing this. She was pausing the work. The studio that was funding and the affiliated distributor, as soon as the strike was over, said, "Oh, sorry, we're going to just take the loss on this." So they shelved it and just took a loss.
Yeah. Unreal.
10 episodes. Wow. Shot around the world.
Yeah.
Shot in Argentina, shot in Iceland.
Oh my God.
Yeah, based on underlying incredible IP. Yeah. So it's we didn't think we would do. We thought, oh, it's just films that aren't made. But then the stories were super compelling around films that were made but not seen. We're like, that counts.
I'm just so impressed with how open and forthcoming, and even looking at the humor. Obviously, it's a big part of your show is humor. There's a lot of laughing going on because of the ludicrousness of these experiences, but or the ideas maybe in some cases. But
well, tragedy plus time equals comedy, right? Yeah.
Right. That's right. Exactly. Yes.
I worked with Steven Soderbergh on a very tiny doc a while back, and I emailed him to see if he would be on the show because there was recently a whole article and a lot of press around something of his that did not get made. And he said he felt that he would come across as bitter and he didn't want to come on the show. And I responded, "Hey, Steven, tragedy plus time equals comedy." And he emailed me back and said, reach out to me again in, 2031. It's a tiny part of the genesis of this show, which is people don't want to talk about their failures, right? So when I was going through my closet and cleaning up and seeing all of these unmade projects, I felt embarrassed, right? I felt like I had let some people down, right? And, when I read some of the emails, like coverage from Ted Hope and like 20 years ago, it was funny, but, it did, like, I was grappling, like, what do I do with this? And so, yeah, the whole publicity machine, you're supposed to talk about all those great things, and publicists and festivals and step and repeat. You only say, like, things are going great. My next project's this. It's already greenlit. Occasionally, you'll tell that hard story, like, you will have succeeded, right? I've succeeded. I won Sundance. And you'll say, like, I used my credit cards. I was broke. It was so hard, but now I'm here. But what if you're not there? Why can't you still talk about it? So that was part of the conceit in a way to, like, we need to, like, talk about these things, normalize it. It's still part of me. These projects are still part of me. I had friendships gained from them, lessons learned.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
hard to keep going in, especially in the indie world. Although I do wonder now, And again, of course, I'm an optimist for technology. You know, I do wonder if that feels like there are more tools available to elevate people's or accelerate people's ideas in the, you know, what we call the indie film world. It's an open question. We're building stuff with the show that would, I mean, a year ago, completely not possible. So it is, and even from December, not possible. Like that is the advance.
It's been like
of what's happening.
I have another question, Adam.
Yeah.
What is your dream guest?
The number one person who, if I had to jump today and decide, it would be Jim Jarmusch, because he to me was the ultimate New York indie filmmaker. 100%. And I've been able to kind of orbit but never land, you know, that. And he doesn't do podcasts as far as I know. But you know, if I could get a message to him, I'm like, hey, you know, I've been doing this thing for 15 years and I don't have a sponsor. You know, those dried up many years ago. And I just realized my effort and energy would be better spent on the show and on the quality of the conversations than in trying to chase after a little bit of money here and there, you know.
Cool,
so
man. That's a good dream.
Yes, that's a great.
We're gonna put it into the universe.
100%.
My dream guest is,
and I was at
John Waters.
John Waters. That's a good
That's
one
my
too.
dream
Yes,
guest.
And
you haven't had him on.
Do you think has he made a film that he hasn't made? Rather,
rumor has it. I'm on the.
Well, I know he has a new one, right? But
but there's one. There's some stuff in the closet.
Okay.
Most of it's come out, but
exactly.
That's a joke.
Yeah. I know. Yes, it is.
For those who haven't heard or don't already know everything about you, where can people find you?
I live in a small town. That's just to come by because no, I am Filmwax Radio.
Sir.
You can go to filmwaxradio.com, filmwax.com, of course. You can find the show on your, you know, all the apps. And then we're, you know, of course, on socials. I and the show are both on Instagram and Facebook. And so it's very easy to Google and find Filmwax Radio, Adam Schartoff. And you guys, please mention as well.
Yes, everybody, filmwax.com, like, subscribe. It's a living archive. Well, thank you again, Adam. I really appreciate taking the time.
Thank you guys. I think I want all the success for this podcast. You know, it's great. It's a terrific to have another.
And we want to get you to 1,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like with you guys on I can't let you down. So.
Yeah.
That's the spirit.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Films Not Made, but if you want an even better experience, check us out on YouTube, where you can see all the new materials, including the pitch deck and trailer.
And subscribe to our Substack for show notes, more about our guests, and industry insights.
And please follow us on Instagram and TikTok as Films Not Made.
And of course, we have merch. Check that out and all things Films Not Made at filmsnotmade.com.
Thanks again for listening and watching. We'll see you next time.